What's up guys, it's the Actual Justice Warrior here, and today we're going to be talking about disproportionate marijuana arrests. Stop me if you heard this one before.
Black people and white people smoke weed at about the same rate, but black people are nearly 4 times as likely to be arrested for marijuana as a white person.
4 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana possession. Although, interestingly, white people are 1,000,000 times more likely to be shocked by that statistic.
Blacks in 2010 were arrested 4 times more than whites for marijuana possession.
Really? And what, pray tell, do you think is the cause of this?
Either the war on drugs is racist, or all throughout the country, the people enforcing the war on drugs are racist. There is no other answer.
Racism, the catch-all explanation for everything in current year. But is it true in this case? The first thing that you need to know is that blacks and whites do use marijuana at the same rates, and blacks are more likely to be arrested on marijuana charges. However, this information is not sufficient in and of itself to declare that the criminal justice system is racist across the country. And for the record, I'm not denying that there is racism in the criminal justice system. What I am pointing out is that these are advocacy statistics. And if you don't know what an advocacy statistic is, it's basically a number or a factoid that is divorced from its original context in order to advocate or argue for a political position. While the number or factoid might be true, you can't effectively draw conclusions from it because it's removed from its overall context. So yes, while blacks and whites do use marijuana at the same rate, and blacks get arrested far more for marijuana, that doesn't necessarily equal racism. And for the record, just because I said that doesn't mean that it's not racism. I put the racism explanation as a maybe. However, we need to delve deeper into the data and try and figure out why that is. But first, I'm going to ask you to think a little bit. How do you discover somebody is using marijuana?
Think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer?
So unless you're a total fucking moron, most of you have either said that you see it or you smell it. But where do you have to be to see marijuana or smell it?
Think about it for a second. Okay, got your answer?
Near the person that's smoking the marijuana, obviously. So I think it's safe to assume that presence of law enforcement impacts marijuana arrests. And if you still don't get it, just think about it like this. If you have 2 separate areas where somebody's smoking pot, and one area has 1 police officer and the other area has 5 police officers, it's about 5 times more likely that an officer will discover the pot smoker. But what about the increased police presence in and of itself? Is that due to racism? Well, no. Remember what I said about divorcing a single factoid from its overall context? According to the Uniform Crime Report, murder, robbery, sexual assault, rape, normal assault are all significantly higher in African American communities. And if all those crimes are higher in a certain community, when deciding where to put your law enforcement resources, it's only logical that you would put them in that community. It's called targeted enforcement. And since we've previously pointed out that marijuana usage is discovered by a person being near or close to the marijuana user, the increase in police presence seems like a far more rational explanation than every police department across the country being racist. I mean, think about it. According to Franchesca Ramsey's statistics, which by the way, she doesn't cite any sources for, there's more disproportionate arrests in the Northeast than any other place.
In the West, black folks are twice as likely to be arrested. In the South, 3 times more likely, and in the Northeast and Midwest, 4 times more likely.
And the Northeast is typically more diverse than any other places, and the South is typically viewed as more racist than all other places. So why does that make sense? Could it be that it has very little to do with racism running rampant across the country, and that it's actually just police being in high crime areas? And because they're in the high crime areas, as a side effect of their presence, they're more likely to arrest people even for crimes committed at the same rate. It's extremely possible that most of the disproportionate arrests of black and brown people in the United States can be attributed to the higher police presence in their neighborhood, which can be attributed to the higher rates of crimes statistically in their neighborhood. In fact, if you were going to make the argument that marijuana arrests are targeted and racial, you would have to control for all these factors. You would have to demonstrate that a black pot smoker in the same exact circumstances, in the same exact neighborhood, is also more likely than a white pot smoker to be arrested. But in reality, the factoid that the social justice advocates removed from its context does not show that. So while I do believe that marijuana should be legal across the board, and I recognize that there is a racist history in the drug war, you can't just blame the disproportionate arrest patterns on racism without showing the evidence. Anyway, that's all I have for you guys today. I've been seeing this number be thrown around for years now, and I decided it was my job to debunk it. If you like this video, then please leave a like. If you want to share it with your friends, hit that share button. Subscribe for more content. This has been the Actual Justice Warrior. Until next time.